Amazon is planning to launch a new budget storefront to compete with Shein and Temu. The storefront was announced at the closed-door event for sellers in China. Many items will be under $20, and Amazon will ship products directly from China to the U.S. within 9 to 11 days. It's not announced a launch date, but will begin accepting products in the fall. I think it's probably smart to do this, correct? Presumably.
I'm shocked it took them this long.
Yeah.
The biggest trend in what I'll call, I don't know, what big tech, or the firms that, any firm that's added more than $50 billion in market capitalization within a 12-month period has one thing in common, and that is it's an asset-light business model. And whether it's Uber, whether it's Airbnb, and obviously the best example is NVIDIA, that decided they didn't even need a chip plant to make chips. Basically, Shein, and to a lesser extent Temu, use machine learning and AI to look at activity on a website, and based on that activity on their website, they can emit the software, the brains, this villain, if you will, almost, says this is how many tie-dye tops are going to be in demand in the next 24 hours. It immediately figures out, again, using technology in a nanosecond, which of their factories should produce these tops and exactly how many. It immediately starts sending messages to the transportation infrastructure. And using all of this without stores, without warehouses, without factories, without trucks, without any assets, it's able to get people apparel for 40 to 60% less than, say, Zara or H&M. And in an economy where young people are making less money but still have a desire to express individuality coming into their mating years, you are seeing Shein this year will be bigger than Amazon in apparel, and next year will be bigger than Walmart in apparel and be the biggest apparel company in the world. So this makes all sorts of sense to get into this category that I think you can loosely call on-demand retail.
Yeah.
And obviously Amazon has a really big platform. But
It's sort of beyond fast fashion, right? It's even faster, I guess.
I call it, it's not fast fashion, it's on-demand fashion. And
Right.
the thing about this, Kara, is when you talk about efficiencies and boring things, there's almost no returns because it's so inexpensive. There's almost no sales or waste because they can perfectly calibrate demand.
Yeah.
You're able to get products from China to a home in Wisconsin. It comes in these like plastic bags, and a kid for $80 can get 3 dresses, 2 pairs of jeans, and 4 tops.
Would you outline the criticism you get when you push this company for people to understand?
Yeah, that I'm a climate terrorist, that I'm ignoring everything from forced labor to the environmental disaster that is fast fashion, and that that I'm a total fucking hypocrite when I pretend to be a progressive and I'm out there investing in a company that is bad for the environment. And my defense is I believe that young people need inexpensive things, and much of this rhetoric is being fueled by the incumbents. And I have gotten to know the chairman and the vice chairman of this company pretty well. They do no business in China. They have huge supply chain in China. And what I would say is, at least they've convinced me that whatever standards you want to put on Amazon, Nike, or Apple, they will comply with and try and set the bar. And everything about forced labor, cotton coming out of a certain region, they now source their cotton out of Brazil. And whenever anybody starts complaining about Shein, or I say, okay, now do Nike, now do Apple.
Yeah,
I have
would
seen
agree.
no evidence.
That's why I wanted you to say this, because I think one of the things that you were just talking about, fast fashion versus on-demand fashion, I think I've always thought it should be, we should know exactly what we need to make so we can be more efficient rather than
That's
this
exactly right.
spray and pray kind of thing where they just have so much stuff and then they throw it out or they redo it, or it goes into landfill or goes to other countries, where they sort out T-shirts and things like that. We spent a lot of time figuring out what to do with the clothes after we have too many of it because it's not correctly judged on how much they should make. I've always thought fashion should have been everything should be more efficient, food production, everything else. And this is the way to it. But I like the idea of on-demand retail.
I think young people need more stuff for less money. And I also think China and the US need to kiss and make up and start doing business together. I think there are real concerns around the amount of resources that go into making a T-shirt, the amount of water it takes. I think there are real issues around a consumptive society that has embraced fast fashion. What I say to people is, these guys have fooled me into believing that whatever standards you want to apply on the entire industry, they will match or try and be better. But there are real issues. But like I said, now do Apple, now do Nike. I like these guys.
That's a really good point.
I love that a 24-year-old that is making less money than me or someone in their 30s can actually feel pretty good about themselves and order stuff for not a lot of money. And by the way, they aren't taking into account just how incredibly hard on the environment returns are, or what happens to the carbon footprint when you have to transfer stuff to a truck, then to a warehouse, then to a distribution center. This shit goes straight to the home.
Yeah, I think it's very easy to that's why I wanted you to bring those up. Anyway, in any case, we'll see. Amazon needs to be here for sure, and will be it's a good way for them to be doing products themselves. And it's inevitable that they had to compete here because these companies are seeing huge growth, and so they have to compete, and that's what Amazon does. And that's what they do best in any of all the things they do.